Welcome to Surface Virtual Mind and Business Forum 2020. I am Debra Grund, co-founder and CFO of Surface. One of my most meaningful Surface duties is to oversee the sponsorship of our 50 World Vision children, their families and communities from around the world. Even throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, we have continued our full World Vision sponsorship. I want to thank each and every one of you for your continued support, because without you, this could not be possible. So from the bottom of our hearts, we thank you.
Grow the mind, build the business. In our next 4 hours that we get to share with you, I promise you the inspiration and information to have an amazing finish to this year and a great start to next year. My name is Wayne Grund, co-founder of Surface. I'm Debra's husband. It is my pleasure to be able to share with you today the most amazing people that support Surface on a continuous basis. Today we will have Lindsey Curtis, National Sales Director, with us. We will have Sean Carlson, Global Ambassador, with us. And we will have McKee with us, our Artistic Ambassador. So you ready to rock? Now, get your hand up, put it on your left hip, grab the invisible Surface seatbelt, and tighten that bad baby up. When we think about going forwards, the number one thing that I want us to be able to identify is why return to normal when you can reach beyond? Opportunities that you will have from what we share with you will be tremendous. Number one, the future is now. Coaching for performance. Awareness, responsibility, and process, the three principles: awareness of our life, awareness of our business, responsibility in both areas. If it is to be, it's up to me. And ultimately, success. See, process is the action that you take or you don't take on a daily basis. And unfortunately, when COVID did hit and we were closing down, if your process of working in finances was in place before, you had a good business plan, it gave you something better to be able to grow from. You see, when we take a look at what COVID's done to us, I believe that we can evaluate our life balance. I don't know about you, but I've really enjoyed being able to spend more time. And even in the future, when my feet do hit an airplane, I will balance it better with my home, my children, my grandchildren, my lovely wife, Debra. Financial security. To be able to make sure that we're making good financial decisions. And ultimately, where do our finances come from? Well, they come from our hours of productivity in the salon. They also come from our service and retail per guest. So my friends, in coaching for performance, the first thing we'll do today is evaluate yourself on today's ideas. Our goal is to make ourselves better. All ideas won't work all the time, and have fun. Success, questions to ask that little voice inside your head right now is, are you fulfilling your potential? Be honest. Would more success be bad for you? Be honest and never justify failure. A flash of the blinding obvious is quite simply, you get out what you put into it. No one in our world was born smart. We're born with the ability to learn. Having said that, to grow the mind and grow the business, we do not improve by learning, we improve by doing. So as we learn today, I ask you to have a pen in your hand. Hopefully you've done your homework that I sent you. Hopefully you've got your workbook, because start to write action steps. As we move into this, there's 4 things that we need to appreciate. First of all is our past. To be able to use your memories in a positive way, and do not let your memories use you. Appreciate your present. What can I learn? What can I plan? What can I do? And our future, what am I becoming? Who is my team becoming? What is my salon becoming? So when I take a look at appreciation, that leads me immediately to expectation. So to change our reality, we must be able to think different, believe different, and ultimately do different. What do you expect out of you? When I look at that inner voice, there's a big difference between thinking and thought. And that's one of the greatest battles I believe as a human being, myself personally, that you'll ever fight, and you can and will win. Because see, what thinking is it can take you in so many mental directions. And all of a sudden you're thinking maybe negative things that'll put you back. I wish I could have, would have, did it. Well, you didn't. So when is it? What time is it? Now. Where are you? Here. That little voice talks to us continually, and it's got to be your best friend. You got to reach inside with you, grab yourself, give yourself a big old hug, and realize that I need to control my thinking so that it becomes conscious thought. In crisis management on March 27th, the Facebook Live I did based on these 4 principles. And by the way, you can go to our Facebook Surface Air fan page and find all the videos that were done. And I thank our team so much for them. The first thing we did in any crisis management is assess. Where are you? Physically, financially. The next thing, stabilize. How do I stabilize expenses? How do I stabilize my environment? The next thing, plan for recovery. Now, many of you had a Surface business plan in place with your salon growth manager. Salon growth managers, thank you so much. So you had a plan start to recover with some changes. And number 4, grow. Assess, stabilize, recover, and grow. So in Business Reinvented, I've been asked by many different publications to do presentation on this going, how are we reinventing business? Well, I've been around for over 4 decades. Many of you, my friends, know that I'm a 3rd-generation stylist. My daughter Jackie is a 4th generation. And you see that picture in the corner there? I remember that coming from my Aunt Betty's beauty salon with the rollers and my mom there. You see, COVID wasn't the first time that we reinvented business. It was the fastest time that we had to react. Because if you didn't reinvent and move from the roller set to the blow dryer, you were caught in the past. If you didn't reinvent from the permanent wave rods and move to the color, you were also left in the past. Each one of these steps had dire financial consequences to those who didn't progress and move forward. The reason I share you those pictures on the bottom, because the gentleman on the left-hand side with that clean taper, that's like back in the 1950s, early 60s, and today, by the way. But that individual was the haircut that paid for me to go to school, because that was my dad's haircut, Johnny's Barbershop. And he would average doing 6 haircuts an hour, and the average haircut price was $1.25. When I started cutting hair, it was $1.75. When Elvis came in, Dad got a little nervous yet, because Elvis' hair was a little bit too long. So people weren't going to be coming in every 3 weeks for that haircut anymore. And oh my goodness, I'm dead serious here. Financial crisis with the Beatles, the Monkees, the Animals. Why? Because of long hair. All of a sudden, people were not coming into the barbershop for a year or longer. When they did, maybe it's 3 months. So my dad buckled down because what? He reinvented. He drove into the city in the wintertime. We're from a small town in Saskatchewan called Watson, twice a week, and he took men's long hair cutting classes. And he was able to reinvent very, very successfully. In 2008, when we launched Surface, many of my friends said, Wayne, you were clean before clean was even cool. It was identifying that the world needed reinvention, and we did it in 2008 to bring uncompromised products that had high performance while respecting personal health and the earth. The biggest reinvention that I see right now, my friends, is without doubt in the treatment world. We'll share much of that with you today. Also, the retail world. It has been absolutely wonderful, amazing to be able to see how salons have reached out and asked people to buy from them because they knew it was right. Retail sales through the roof. And in the treatments, home care treatments. This is the biggest areas that I see opportunity for growth in the future as we change from the permanent wave to the color, that we change from the roller set to the blow dryer. Well, we keep some of those good elements from the past, but we move forwards. An example that you see here, the color lock as a treatment. The color lock charge would be $15 to $35. Anybody that's having a challenge with color fadage. It is 0 extra time on a haircut. Your product cost is $3. People are looking for additional pampering. The Curl Moisture Bake. Average price in the salon, $15 to $25. zero extra time when a person's having a haircut. Cost of goods, $2. Look at the opportunity that I'm sharing with you. Many times I'll ask people, like, how many of these treatments are you doing? And they go, oh, what? Later I'll share with you the importance of knowing your numbers. The Awaken Scalp Facial, $15 to $25. A 5-minute add-on to a haircut. And $2 product cost. Think of your guests right now as we go through here that you'd be able to present this extra level of service to, especially now that COVID-19 doesn't have our day crammed into 4 hours at the end of the day or 3 hours in the morning. It's spread throughout. When we look at the nourishing mask treatment, to be able to do after all high lift blondings, $15 to $30, 10 minutes extra onto the service, product cost again, $2. We take a look at our Purify Max repair treatment, any hard water areas, any chlorinated hair areas, to be able to purify that. Anybody in need of real maximum repair, using it before a color service to pre-fill with proper protein. It's a 15-minute service. Cost $20 to $40 and an average of $3.50 invested. I'm hoping that you see the opportunity in front of you. And as we move today, you'll learn how to seize that opportunity. We take a look at our color shine treatment. As we move into the winter, everybody wants more shine. They may not need an actual color at that time, but a 20-minute service on a haircut time, product cost approximately $7, and it's $25 to $50. Opportunity, opportunity, opportunity. But to be a surface scientist, we need to recommend it. Now, the most important thing that we see here is how retail links to it. And when the retail links to it, it gives you the opportunity to discuss. My friends, the future is now. We learn from the past, we identify where we are, and it's up to us to chart the course of where we're going. We have to learn to be able to present the treatments. We have to be able to know that we can speak the right language, which I'll share with you afterwards as well, so that we can truly guide our business and our guests into the future. I'm very excited now to have Sean be able to share with you the future is now and how he applies his thought process to it. Please welcome Sean Carlson.
Future is now. And as Wayne shared right away in that crisis management, step number 4, he talked about growth. And growth, my friends, is a choice. It's a choice we have to make. And where does that come from? To me, that comes from our mindset. And our mindset, what is mindset anyway, right? Mindset is the established set of attitudes held by somebody. So I ask you, what is your established set of attitudes? Where are you right now? What are you holding on to? And do you have the ability to consider what type of mindset you have? Again, we have a choice. Maybe you're in the fixed mindset where you are currently feeling limited. Maybe you're feeling stuck. It's possible you're feeling uncontrolled or controlled by something else. And often, friends, in this mindset, we kind of feel lost. Like, where do we go next? See, the alternative for us is a growth mindset. And the growth mindset is so exciting because it allows us to look for what we can learn right now. Also, it allows us to look for opportunity to adapt, to change. What can we change? And then also, friends, it's the ability to hold on to what we can control and move forward with it. Yeah, I think mindset and attitudes ultimately dictate our behavior. So if you start those fixed set of attitudes and you're feeling like you are lost or limited or stuck or behind or controlled, then how is that going to dictate your behavior? And we know that if we have a growth mindset, our behavior is going to dictate the action steps that we take, which will lead to our results and our performance. And all of us, friends, all of us want to win. The next step, friends, is understanding those attitudes, though, that mindset that we have, and then being able to visualize. Visualization is daydreaming with a purpose, and who doesn't love to daydream? The cool part about visualization, it allows you to go ahead and see where you want to be. And in my mindset, it allows me to visualize who I am and what do I want to be in 2021? Where do I want to be? How do I see that playing out? And then to also be able to take a step back and say, okay, where does my business want to be in 2021? What does that look like? Being able to see it, friends, see it out there in front of you, being able to move towards it is the ultimate opportunity that we have. Now, once we have that visualization and we can see where we want to go, our next steps are allow us to build a mission, right? What is the mission? The mission is the purpose, the reason. And being able to align our goals with that vision and that mission allows us to have this alignment where everything kind of makes itself better known. And we can make better steps towards those goals because we have a plan. We have a purpose. We have a reason. And then, friends, we have to have a strategy. And sometimes I'm like, well, what's the difference between the mission and the strategy? Well, we have to know what strategy is, right? And strategy is a plan of action or policy designed to achieve a major or overall aim. Okay, that says a lot, but to me, what it really means is a game plan. Now, the exciting part, friends, about a game plan is any game you join, you want to win. And each team lines up on the other side and they have their own strategy. They have a vision, they have a mission. They have this game plan of how they're going to reach their goals. But this is the real aha moment for me, friends, is well, what happens if things change in the middle of your game plan? What if pandemics cause turmoil within your game plan? Where do you go now? It's the ability, friends, to be able to adjust and have that mindset of growth. What can I learn? How can I move forward? And we really have to align all of these processes together so that we can have ultimate effectiveness in reaching that goal. And that goes back to goal setting. Goal setting for me is always about having that long-term vision up over here, understanding what that target is, and then being able to take baby steps towards it. And those baby steps are our short-term goals. How will this short-term goal help me in making my long-term goal become easier or quicker or more effective? And then it boils all the way right down to the now. As we've been speaking today, the future is now. So what can I do right now that will make reaching my long-term goal and objective easier? We have to take steps, friends. We have to do more. It's about action. All these ideas, all these visions, all these strategies, these missions, without action steps, leaves us stuck in that fixed mindset where we feel controlled. We're growing now. We're making steps towards a better future, a better present, all at the same time. And what we want to do, friends, is when you look at what can we do right now, we want you to join us on the Surface Hair website. We want you to go to the goals and planning section, which is right underneath this professionals tab. When you click on that, friends, it'll bring you to this goals and planning first page. And there, we'll be able to talk you through the roadmap. Because the cool part about action steps, friends, is What gets written gets done. So how have you been able to compartmentalize all this information that's flowing in your mind and get it down on a piece of paper that you can see it? And that roadmap allows you to see your 6 months to 12 months of plan of action moving through your business. And then what about setting salon goals? Salon goals and planning allows you to have all of this direction on one page, and you can work together as a team to make that happen. And then stylists, it's all about getting our direction in line with what we can do with our guests. When those align, our personal goals, our professional goals, all come together as one perfect harmony. Now, once you get there, there's more. And why is that so exciting? Because there's something for everyone. What about promotional guides? What about personal coaching with your team? And then, of course, the ROI, the return on your investment. How are you planning smart purchases for you and your team to be able to serve your guests at the highest level? That is a lot. Slow down, inhale, exhale. You're doing great. Remember, friends, it's always about one thing at a time. Coming together, slowing down, and taking these baby steps because they've been written. And I also want you to remember why you started, your purpose, your reason, the ultimate direction that you have set forth. And remember, friends, passion led you here, right? That fire inside. The purpose is the reason. That's the reason for the journey. But that passion is the fire, that fuel inside of you that continues to light your way. You are worth it. The future is now. And that takes me to Lindsey. Lindsey Curtis, I would love for you to be able to share how understanding the now and working and planning in the now has, during this COVID crisis and pandemic and all this turmoil, has really helped you open your eyes to the future.
All right, Sean, well, thank you so much for introducing me here. And I'm going to share with you proactive versus reactive. If there's one thing that I learned from our journey of since March is really how can we have that growth mindset, like you said, and having a growth mindset is being proactive, and having a fixed mindset is being reactive. And I think we all learned a lot. Every single one of us, no matter if you're one chair or if you are 25 chairs, every single one of us in our salon companies plays a role to be proactive and to help each other out. And there's so many great things that came from this that are best practices that are really here to stay. And the first one is curbside pickup. This is not going away, and it's one thing that has really helped increase our retail sales through the time. So that is not going to go away. Curbside pickup is fantastic. And also salon websites. Many of us out there have created online websites, so it's easy access for our guests to shop right on our own online store. And lastly is social media. Social media has been a great partnership, and I've been partnering with salons, and so have our salon growth managers out there with multiple salons to communicate promotions effectively and to help spread the message of product knowledge, and also doing virtual takeovers. Now, this is one thing, if you haven't tried it yet, please contact somebody at Surface, your salon growth manager. We are all here to help you. And a virtual takeover is a fun way for us to communicate directly to your guests. And what happens is Surface goes on and we take over either your Facebook page or we take over your Instagram page, and we talk about product, and we can theme it. As you can see onto the left side of the screen, this is Salon Ultimo in Woodbury, Minnesota. And Don McKee took over their Facebook page to do an Awaken Your Style event back in August. I took over Classic Styles page right here in Lincoln, Nebraska. And how much fun did we have there? We were able to communicate, do videos, we did live shows just for their guests. And at Mirage Salon and Spa in Norfolk, Nebraska, we did an open house virtually. And hats off to you guys. I know you're watching out there. What an absolutely phenomenal event. My message today is to be adaptable. And the definition of adaptable is the ability to adjust to new conditions. Your financial stability as a hairdresser, salon owner, is to be adaptable, and to be adaptable to the new ideas we are presenting you today. There is huge change ahead in our virtual world. One thing that I really learned is guests are loyal. And I see this out there. Guests are loyal to you because you provide them with exceptional service, exceptional support, exceptional help and satisfaction. You give them quality services. And if we can provide those key components to our guests behind the chair, you guys are going to thrive, and you're going to continue to thrive in the future. So with that, I'm going to bring back up Mr. Wayne Grund. And Wayne, you had shared in your presentation about a salon prescription pad. And your salon prescription pad shows all of the different key components of our Surface retail. Can you share with us a little bit more about the prescription pad and how it can help grow our business behind the chair right now?
Well, the salon prescription pad supports Sean's statement that he had on, I call it ink it, don't think it. Goals get written down. How would you feel? You went to all of you guys out there, you go to the doctor, you're sitting there and you're waiting in the room. Doctor comes in and goes, you know, Wayne, when you were here last time, I forgot to write anything down. I'm really sorry. What were the color of those pills that I gave you again? What did that medicine smell like with it? I just jog my memory. You know, it's very similar to a stylist that gets caught up in how much you went off today, same as last time, just a trim, what do you want? Good to see you again. How was the football game? When we pull it back, it's very important to connect with our guests on a personal basis. But at the same time, to maximize our level of professionalism, when I'm consulting with the guest, you would write notes down on their welcome card. On that recommendation card, you can write notes down. And it's Sally, this is the products we've used today. This is the recommendation that I have for you today. And I'm hoping that so many of our guests, and I know you are because you've been following Surface for a lot of years, many of you, some of you are brand new. But you go, which one do I need the most, your guest says. And then you're trained because you're aware that you're able to share at that point going, well, what I've done is I've written them down for you. I've marked their order of importance. And based on your beauty budget today, you can take, but let's set a goal of 3 visits into the salon to have you in your complete regime. Wow, how easy is that? So now when I'm working with the treatment and I'm so excited about what I got for you this afternoon on the organics of Surface, when you have just a little bit of information on the organics of the product that you're working with, you can just give one simple statement, what I'm applying, why I'm applying it, and now you're able to take it home with you. So, you know, Lindsey, I hope that shares with you the information on that. And Sean, you were, one of the things that you stated in yours was a salon roadmap. I'd like you to expand more on that. Is what's the benefit of having that salon roadmap?
Oh, Wayne, that's such a great question. Where my mind goes immediately is about confidence. If we as a salon owner and a salon team have a strong partnered plan of action, and that's where that roadmap is for 6 months up to 12 months of the direction that we're going, the promotions that we have, the education that's going to be supported, it gives us confidence. And then, Wayne, really think about the stylist that works in that salon. Now, if I go back in that break room and I see hanging up on the wall an action plan, a roadmap that really lays out for me as the stylist, a team member, it really engages all of us in that culture of supporting each other and really being able to serve our guests at a much higher level. confidence is the key word there, Wayne. And so I hope that answered your question. I think it's a tremendous tool, and I'm so grateful that we get to partner with salons with it.
So let me see if I heard you correctly, Sean. What I hear you saying is if I've got a piece of paper or PDF file, and it shows me my coming quarter or even my year, but especially my quarter, it shows on there the items on promotion and why, based on the time of year, based on the needs of the guest within there. Maybe even has some educational links. So now that would be, whether I'm a single salon, I'm a salon of one, I got a plan. If I'm a salon of 5, I've got a plan, but I got to make sure I share the plan with my team, right? So now the team knows that working with my environment, the owner just doesn't have a key, open the door, go, there you go, lock the door and go home. There's a reason that I'm engaged with that salon team because they have a plan. Did I hear you correctly?
That is
awesome. So I just don't have to wait for the deal of the month to make a decision. I actually have a plan. How cool is that? So, and we've got a little bit more time here. So let's, Sean, you're going to move over to, I think you got something you're going to ask Lindsey now.
Absolutely. And before I do that, Wayne, I think the other thing I wanted to add with that is it's so nice because if you have that roadmap and you have that roadmap available, if things change, if there's any new thing that comes into play, we have the ability to adapt with confidence because we have a process of planning in front of us. And it just gives us that ultimate confidence. And what do we know, Wayne? Anybody in the beauty industry who has confidence is what we're attracted to. And so, Lindsey, that leads me to some of the things that you shared that I found so dynamic, and that's virtual takeovers. Really where I want you to go with this, Lindsey, is I want you to explain some of the success stories in regards to sales for salons, for profitability that you have seen as a result of these virtual takeovers.
Yes, well, thank you for asking that. It's one of the most popular things we're doing as salon growth managers in the field right now. And there's so many great successes and so many different steps that go into making this successful. And so what I'll share with you is I have personally done 5 virtual takeovers in a big way. So as we get into the holiday season, instead of having an in-person holiday event, why not do a virtual holiday event where we can do everything we were going to do in person but do it online? And so the ones that we've done so far are, as far as retail sales go, we've sold anywhere from $1,000 all the way up to $7,200 in one day. And again, there's so many key components that go into that in pre-planning. But when you do a virtual takeover, I mean, it's just a way to connect to the guest. And they want to know about product. And I call it the mom grandma effect, Sean. So it's like when you as a salon owner are telling your guests that they need jump mousse, but then grandma comes in, aka Lindsey or somebody at Surface, and they say about jump mousse, they're like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing I've ever seen in my life, and I need 10 of them, right? So it's a great way to connect. But I want you guys to think out there, if we can't do in-person events, we can do online events. And how do we do that? So by doing that is connecting first with your salon growth manager and also an advocate in your salon. If you have a Surface advocate or a Surface artist inside of your salon, they can do that too. And you were talking about a roadmap, Sean. Well, roadmaps are not just for promotions. Roadmaps are also for social media. And so you could lay out an entire roadmap for December, as an example, to do social media. So I hope that answers your question there on virtual takeovers. And again, anywhere from $1,000 to $7,200 so far on doing a virtual takeover day. So absolutely fantastic. So Wayne, I think we have some more questions for our salon panel today.
Lindsey, one of the things, I just got a question in before you came over to me, and they asked me to expand more on the coaching for performance. And I want to take a minute to have people really understand it, because we'll address it again. And please note, pen in hand, there's three principles in coaching for performance. It begins with awareness. Number one, you can control only that which you're aware of. That which you're unaware of controls you. Awareness is not about judgment. It's about simply being aware. Your strengths, areas where you can improve. It's being able to sit back and really grow with a clear view. Now, the second step, awareness, takes you to responsibility. And responsibility is summed up in the most powerful 10 two-letter words in the world. And that is, if it is to be, it is up to me. So we realize that anytime we point a finger, we've got three and a thumb pointing back at ourselves. So with awareness, we take full responsibility for that business plan with it, for the social media, that little voice that pops up in our mind. See, the little voice, my friends, it tells us what we should be doing, doesn't it? But then another one will justify going, you don't have time for that right now. You've not done that before. You know what? I don't know if you can. Well, I'm here on behalf of our whole Surface family saying, yes, you can. We believe in you. You need to believe in yourself and accept the responsibility to plan and accept the responsibility to grow. So now I'm aware. I take responsibility. It's the learning. But nothing happens until my process of action changes. You see, what process is are the actions that you either take or you don't take on a daily basis. Example, you've got way more month at the end of the month than money. That happens 2 months in a row, just means your process isn't working. You got to review, what is my process? What actions can I take to be able to improve that? Now, there's certain things that will fall out of our control, but so many are in our control with a strong enough decision. I become aware, I take responsibility, and ultimately the process of action. So, just shooting out. Sean, do you have anything to add or questions on coaching for performance for me at all?
Wayne, I just want to reiterate, and I love the mentality of that last step there is process. And often, like you said, we have all the ideas, we have the awareness, we take responsibility, and then we get stuck, we get frozen. And what I'm thankful for is the idea of what gets written gets done, and being able to take that action step, that process down to one step at a time really allows us to take those baby steps forward. Can you elaborate a little bit, Wayne, on those baby steps? And when we talk about roadmaps and that process in general, where do you feel is the best place for some of us to start?
Where do we start? You got to look in the past and see where you were and tie it to the present where you are. And we're going to see that a lot of it quite quickly. And many of the people had a divine aha, I hope you did, when I asked you to find out your hours of productivity. Where are you right now? Where are you with your retail units per guest? Where are you with your service units per guest? It tells you where you are. The next thing that we have on the site that you shared, Sean, was the assessment. We have an assessment program where you do not even have to go into your computer. Just go into your mind. Sit down with your coffee, your tea in the morning, your favorite beverage, and take a look at that assessment and going, okay, really now, where's my income coming from within these retail categories? Where's my inventory coming? Where's my income coming in these service categories? And then by raising my level of awareness, the next sheet we have there is an opportunities guide. What kind of education do I need to be able to grow this area that could be of weakness? And then from there, the action steps quite come in the doing with it. Thank you guys so much. I mean, it was just some great information. And I'll go back to Lindsey. Lindsey, do you have anything on coaching for performance or anything else to touch Sean before I bring in our amazing panel?
I believe it starts with first yourself as a leader. So if you no matter, again, you guys, if you're 1 chair or 50 chairs, it starts with you, and you as a leader needs to take action to lead by example. And I agree with you, Wayne, on the salon assessment. It is the very first thing we do at Surface for salon growth management, because that's going to give us a clear path to create your roadmap. So I'd start there first.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Now, with the panel here, I'm so honored to have these gentlemen join us on our panel. And the very first gentleman that I'm introducing to you is Kevin Reimer from Edmonton, Alberta, the Estelle Hair Design Academy. And Kevin and I believe we've been friends for over 30 some years. I was trying to add the years. I believe I've been in the school to present with your students. You've had me in as a guest, I mean, over probably 15 to 20 years right now. And for your second generation in the school business and what you've done for the industry, I just thank you so much. And the other gentleman that's going to be joining us is a very dear friend, a past Surface educator, an extremely successful salon owner and stylist in La Peta, Maryland, is Gareth Jenkins. So first of all, I'm going to start things off though with you, Kevin. Kevin, what's been your biggest learning point from COVID-19?
Wow, that's a real big question right there. We were closed for probably 15 weeks, I think, from the time things happened in March till we had customers and students back in the school in towards the end of June. And every day I still came into work, even though there was nothing going on. I answered the phones because people would still call, people would still be emailing. And one thing that became apparent really, really quick is that there was a lot of unknown and a lot of fear. And so I was like going, I need to address that fear in our customers. And we've got two customers. That is the student who stands behind the chair and the person who sits in the chair for the students to work on. And both have got different levels of fear, both have got different levels of concern. And so we kind of revamped, we had to space stations apart. So we went from 37 down to 22 usable stations. It meant we had to reduce class sizes. We lost an entire class in the May grouping. And it meant that we had to kind of repurpose some of the students' time while they were in school. So we built in what I call a support position for students. So every day we have a number of students that are working to greet guests, put them through our COVID checklist, take temperatures, collect contact information, and we keep all that stuff for contact tracing in case I get a phone call from Alberta Health going, somebody who was in your school last Thursday that has tested positive. Well, I've got day by day, I've got everyone's phone number, email, and their slide, and we got it all in an envelope, and I can go contact trace away, and I can help Alberta Health track people down. It's amazing for my customers how much they keep coming up and telling me, I feel really safe coming here. And so it's by making them feel that this is a safe place that they can go, then they're more likely to come. If they're a little unsure, if they're concerned about that, then you're not going to have the same number of customers coming through the door. We're reduced simply because we don't have as many stations. I can't have it reduced even more with people having a sense of fear. So for me, it was trying to address fear, and then the same sort of activities went through with the students, and just kind of right off the bat, that's the one that I wanted to tackle first, was to kind of reduce fear in our guests.
Awesome, Kevin. And one of the things that I noticed being our social media friends out there is I began to see amazing posts with your students learning off of our Surface U University.
Yep.
And then even holding their certificates that they achieved. Can you share with me, how did you create that initiative? How did you get inspired for them to do that at home?
Sure. Well, when we first were kind of looking at closing, it was March 17th. It was a Tuesday. I had the students come in, and we had a big meeting. And I cleared the schedule of all appointments, anyways. And I knew in my own head I was going to go, hey, we're going to have to shut down for a while. And this is, I think it's so cute. We go back then, everyone was still going 2 weeks, and it was like, oh, okay, fine. So it was like, all right, I wanted to talk to them and let them tell me where their fears were, what they were comfortable with. And we had a collective meeting, and I said, well, let's look at closing for 2 weeks. We'll come back on April 1st and we'll get going on this. And everybody's like, yeah. And about 4 days into that 2 weeks, I was like, we're not coming back on April 1. There's no way that's going to happen. And so I started putting together a bunch of different kind of homework assignments that I could send the students. And we did that for probably about the first month and a half that we were closed, and a bunch of them were video links to Surface stuff. Go and do your certifications and go and do that. And beyond that, there's the ones with Barbicide and other things like that, so that the students would, one, be able to still learn, instill in themselves that they know kind of cleaning procedures and things like that that would be able to carry forward. We still have, and they were emailing me the pictures of their certificates, and we were reposting them. I reprinted everyone's certificate on like basically a photo thing, and so I give them all to them, so they've got them out on their station so that they can put them up on their mirror and stuff, and just have for their own kind of purpose of going forward. So it became apparent real quick that we were going to have to do something to keep them involved. We didn't know that it was going to end up being 15 weeks, and so eventually kind of running out of stuff, because there's really no planning for us to be able to prep for that. So it was done a lot on the fly. But then we just kind of paused everything until we could get back towards the end of June. But for those, it was a lot of fun, I think, for the girls and the guys to work on while they were at home.
Kevin, thank you so much for being just such a great leader and inspiration within our industry. And Sean, you've got a very dear friend of ours to be able to introduce and have some questions for now.
I do, Wayne. Gareth Jenkins from La Plata, Maryland, and his phenomenal salon, Brit Style Hair. Gareth, I'm just so thankful you're here with us, and for our long-term friendship and your inspiration as a business leader and as a stylist to your guests. And one of the things I really wanted to hear from you today is, what have you been doing? What types of action steps have you put in place to build a better business than pre-COVID amongst all this turmoil?
Thanks, Sean. And yeah, Kevin hit on the point in terms of, immediately, you first of all thought that this was going to be maybe just a few weeks. And then, of course, it turned into something much longer. And we were closed for a total of 10 weeks. So it gave me ample opportunity to really reassess where we are as a business. And as opposed to just trying to pick up where we left off, use it as the big breather that it was to see where we were. We were about to celebrate 5 years in April. And so it seemed like a perfect moment to reassess. The first thing I decided that we needed to do was to get back to really having a focus on care. Before COVID, of course, times were really good for us. We were in a situation where, we were booked up for, and we were still following our, price increases and so on and so forth. And yet the demand was still there. And I find that those are the times where you are really in danger of becoming complacent, maybe even bordering on arrogant. Because, you have a guest call up or text and says, hey, I'd like a color on Thursday and it's Tuesday. And you're almost kind of giggling in your head as to, well, no chance of that. And then you come into June and you're like, oh yes, we've got something, and you're thankful for that moment. So it was a reality check for us, and to not take guests for granted, and a reminder of the value of each and every guest, that they are the reason that we're in business. So what we tried to do was make sure that we were giving great value, but not falling into the trap of fear and start discounting services and so on and so forth. We were due an increase in April, and we followed through with it. At the very same moment, we were following the guidance to not blow dry. So of course, then we had what we had to do there was think, well, how can we give value? But a large portion of what most guests are expecting, we're not currently doing, because we wanted to see whether, until we felt confident that salons were not hotspots for COVID transmission, we wanted to err on the side of caution and be considerate of our guests to, again, to kind of echo Kevin, to really make our guests feel safe. So what did we decided and adapted with this opportunity of product recommendations. How did that change? We saw differences in what was selling, at the top of our list because of it, and treatments were our #1 priority. We knew that treatments, because COVID hair was happening, we all saw it, right? And the tragic results of that, with home color, poor home care. And because we had decided that blow drying was not initially something we would do on our return in June, complementary treatments were the way forward. We created value for the guest in sharing with them that while this important part of your haircut and blow dry was gone, we are replacing that with something that has a value of $35, whatever it might be in terms of people's market. And what we found was all of a sudden, our curl masks were selling out. It was a great time for the Violet Nourishing Mask to be a new, exciting product, as well as, all of the, Purify Max Repair, Color Shine, Trinity, so on and so forth. Connection was another thing that we knew we needed to work on in challenging times. Immediately, we jumped in with video consultations using FaceTime or Google Duo, depending on whether a guest was an Android or iPhone user. For the guests, it's felt like safe one-on-one contact. It gave a feel for how long, for us, how much time needed to be scheduled. And also is a great opportunity to sell service and product prior to the guest even coming in. Also, we gave the guest a sense of what they can expect to pay, not just in terms of their service, but also their product. So they were mentally prepared to come in, and whether that be a $100 ticket, $200, $300, $400, or $500 ticket, the guest already felt comfortable and excited to be spending their money at Brit Style. And so therefore, all of these things kind of enabled us to keep our full price for haircut and blow dry and color and so on and so forth, providing a perceived equal value for the guest. And as a result, what we're experiencing now is that there is a higher level of value to treatments, both in salon and also at home.
Gareth, that is such a wealth of knowledge, and I just thank you for sharing that and breaking it down into the steps, and also mentioning the why behind each one of those steps. And I just want to thank you for thinking about your guests and the opportunity that amongst the turmoil and change that you can put a plan together that they can have the ultimate, as Wayne said, awareness, and then you guys as a salon taking the responsibility and process seriously to offer that and to adjust and to overcome. Thank you so much for sharing that, Gareth.
My pleasure.
Evan, Gareth, thank you guys both so much. So appreciative. And I can't wait to see you live again, hopefully very soon. But thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Wayne, I think you can hear me. I would love for you to be able to take us now. We're thinking about the future is now, and expanding on that and really sharing with us the importance of paying ourselves, the stylists, the salons first. Can you expand on that, please?